MMO are kind of boring. They're kind of droning. It's the hardest genre pretty much on the planet to get into. Almost top 5 right up there. It just takes so much effort and time to get into them. And most of them, they're kind of cash grabby, right? It's an MMO. It needs massive numbers of players to really succeed. By its nature, there's sort of like this draw of fantasy and popularity, virality to them, but normally they don't keep the hype alive. They die instantly, or, the games that do keep up and running, it's like they kind of turn into something that we don't like, or they never really evolve. So what are the games that are up and coming that are doing something a little bit different, or refining it, or, just maybe has that secret sauce or a chance of succeeding or having something special that can save the genre if you consider it failing, which you probably do if you clicked on this video. I played so many MMOs. It's so often so droning. I'm tired of it. And you know what? Even with this video, I'll probably be very pessimistic, but I think these are our 5 shots, and I'll explain why. So let's keep the hype. Let's get into the 5. Okay, so the first game that I'm putting on the list, and really all these are probably going to rustle some jimmies, but yeah, HORDES.io, which is technically an old game, but also in beta, kinda, sorta. So it's still upcoming. That sort of process and that, I guess, mentality, the ideology behind a game that is always in development and truly like it's so experimental, and the minimalism that's incorporated within the entire like genes, the DNA of HORDES.io is something that we normally don't get in games that are known as massively multiplayer online games. HORDES.io is this condensed MMO experience that I really, really want more of. And you can kind of get that in some kids MMOs, which most of the time those actually don't break into truly massive numbers or give you true MMO gameplay. It's like hints and teases. But HORDES.io is that sort of refined and more mature approach to that childlike sort of, fast-paced, get in, Candy Rush sort of gameplay. I really appreciate that about HORDES.io. It's a game that's constantly evolving, but always still very pure to its extremely pure mechanics and aesthetic. I really hope we do actually get more MMO that are less visual clutter, less I guess eye-gasming, and just give us, blocks and shapes and low poly. Oh my god, I would love a low poly game. I would love a 2D or Doom-like sort of game. Meridian 59 actually had a lot of fun with a lot of retro MMOs. Retro-inspired MMOs are up and coming. We don't need crazy graphics. I really want just clean, simple graphics and really a focus on gameplay. And HORDES.io is the one game that is absolutely championing that aspect mostly. And again, I do want to applaud the fact that it is treating itself as a beta. And I think as consumers and as developers, we need to be this sort of Warframe or Path of Exile style mentality where it's like, guys, maybe just this forever beta kind of thing. Maybe that's not such a bad thing, actually. Okay, so number 4, get your pitchforks, I guess. I don't know, Star Citizen. Guys, when it comes to space games, I know there's a lot of like underdogs like Dual Universe. I even have another one that's kind of on the list, number 1, sure. But Star Citizen, in terms of like pure space simulation style games, this is like the one. The way it did its Kickstarter, the way that it's developing is very interesting, and I know there is a lot of like scam warnings, red flags, things like that. But compared to other games, especially like Ashes of Creation, Star Citizen is actually, even though it's moving its goalpost very, very far and very quickly, it's still actually making progress and chasing after that goalpost. It's still racing to the finish line. If it ever gets there, I don't know. We want an MMO. We want that truly massive, world experience. But we're really kind of getting a refinement of lots of little modules, little compartments of a game that's supposed to come all together eventually. And all that stuff, all the technology is really, really exciting, really, really cool. And I think just in terms of pure innovation and also what they've kind of done with Kickstarter and how they're utilizing it, that's all very innovative. It's literally already changed the face of MMOs, but has it saved MMOs yet? We have yet to really see Kickstarter MMOs become very successful. A lot of them have released mixed reviews or haven't released. Yeah, so we still have to see, but I'm gonna keep out hope. And once again, Star Citizen is making progress. It's just, guys, they're reaching for the stars. Yeah, and you know what? To me, that's the very purest ideal of what it means to make an MMO. It's just, experiment, go crazy, go wild, and see what you can do. Though I do wish they had a playable, they have a playable games or little, compartments, but I do want to jump into a world and, my guild and, do the MMO stuff. That'd be pretty cool. So hopefully eventually that comes out. Okay, so next up, I've got Core Punk. Core Punk is a game that I was really excited for. As soon as the trailer hit, I did my pre-impressions. I had to rant it out. It was the first trailer that I've really ever seen for a game that seemed to be very meta, very aware of itself and aware of its community, and sort of answered a lot of issues that people would probably be asking if they watched a normal trailer. Things like, in normal action RPG, it's very restrictive, lots of invisible walls, things like that. But in MMO, you do want to explore world, and they instantly showcase okay, yeah, there's even some verticality. You can jump down, actual all kind of Pokemon style ledges, things like that. Still isometric, but it is an open world, and you have to actually traverse it, and it's dangerous. The difficulty in a lot of ARPGs or games that look like this are very easy. And Core Punk has probably more people dying in its trailer than any freaking game that I've seen ever, except for Dark Souls. So I'm super excited for that because of that aspect alone. How a game showcases itself, how a game presents itself, publishes itself. I always say this, but it's important. You can judge a book by its cover to an extent, actually. And in a lot of ways, an MMO, because it is online, it is a community-based game, that might matter more than most games. So I'm excited for that. I also, I played games like Albion Online and RuneScape, and I really do like these sandbox or pseudo-sandbox style games with an economy focus. Core Punk looks like it could be really interesting, kind of getting some WildStar vibes from it. But I think when it comes to isometric MMOs, Core Punk is definitely my ideal for when it comes to full MMOs. There's some MMO lights out there, stuff like Lost Ark or Lineage, Torchlight. That all looks fun and cool and stuff. But in terms of a full MMO sandbox experience, Core Punk is probably going to be the most solid experience that we can actually hope for. And that's something we really, really need in the sandbox genre, which is so janky, so awkward, and sometimes pretty cringy too. So yeah, Core Punk just, it looks like it's gonna be good. It looks like it's gonna run. It looks like it's gonna be solid. And God, MMOs period. It's do they even launch? Are they gonna run? Does it work at all? And then of course sandbox games. Oh my God, that's a toxic fiesta for another day. But Core Punk, yeah. I think it's gonna be the one that specifically it will do something very good for the sandbox genre, but for MMOs as a whole as well. I think it's gonna be one of the champions. So this one's a really weird one for the list. You might have actually expected it, but it's going to be for a reason that you aren't ready for. And I'm actually putting Lost Ark on the list here because I really appreciate that it's a small MMO. And maybe it might not even be an MMO. And even admitting that, I'm still going to put it on the list, even though I'm really hardcore about when people do that and don't. So Lost Ark is an action RPG. It's a hack and slash dungeon crawler, that's for sure. And normally when I say that, that means it's just a 4-player game, maybe like a game like Path of Exile or Warframe or Diablo, but Lost Ark goes a little bit above and beyond. And it even does some weird things that you don't see in other true MMO lights, such as Sea of Thieves or Destiny, where you do have these open, permeable instances where it can, if you squint, it can look like an MMO, but it never really reaches that massive scale. But Lost Ark, it has an overworld, for an instance. There's overworld gameplay, there's more permeation when it comes to player interaction, and at the same time, they're still keeping its core ARPG roots. Look at the spectacle, look at the graphics, they're really pushing this game really hard in terms of just how gorgeous everything is. The action-packed bombacity is, it's electricity, it's fantastic. Just looking, it's eye candy. But a lot of MMO don't look like this, won't play like this. And if there is a game that does look or seemingly plays like this, it's not really an MMO. It doesn't have these added features. And a lot of games, even if they do technically have MMO features, normally it's just daily questing or some sort of weird fake guild system that doesn't really amount to anything. A lot of, especially on mobile games, it's not even, it's asynchronous gameplay. It's not even, so there's a lot of fake online stuff, or it's excuses just to make the game always online and to add in extra microtransactions. But I think Lost Ark, the features that they're adding on seem really unique, really special, especially tacked onto the ARPG genre that kind of just breathes more life. Literally, this is an ARPG that's not just run in and grind or one and done play through the story. This is a game that you kind of more live in, something that we're used to more in general MMOs. And I do like seeing that coming to these different genres, especially the RPG genre, which is blossoming. It's booming. You know, I could name a bunch of games that are kind of doing this, but Lost Ark is just the one that, God, it looks the best by far. Okay, and so for my number one MMO that will save the genre this year is going to be the YouTuber bait that is Starbase. I don't know, lots of YouTubers can make lots of videos and lots of games and get lots of views, okay? But I just think in general, Starbase has that sort of Minecraftian sort of feel. It might even kind of stir up some of the survival game MMO tubers. I think that a lot of these people like making bases. They like, you know, actually, I'm pretty sure that's what's most viral on YouTube is making bases, these different configurations, raiding other people's bases, these sort of big events, which you would think would really be more on the MMO side. It is not actually found in MMOs. It's survival games like Ark or Rust. MMOs, which are supposed to have these giant castle sieges and these epic battlegrounds and this PvP stuff and things. No, man, it's always half-hearted. But Starbase is an actual MMO with like the most ridiculous voxel destruction that I've ever seen, because you can actually build on such a macro scale, but the voxel destruction is on such a microscopic scale. And even though there's like robots for avatars, there's actually a ton of character already in the motion. I think this game is going to be really fantastic. I love the scrappy sort of feel to everything. Seemingly, you know, in the video, I can't wait to play it, get my hands on it myself. But Starbase just seems like the kind of game that it's going to create a lot of different unique situations, scenarios, that's going to be very memorable for players, and also create awesome set pieces and, you know, just video content for YouTubers and streamers. And that's a huge part of what makes an MMO special. So far, I've just talked about like the pure gameplay or coming at it from like a publishing perspective, you know, the design of the game, the mechanics, whatever. But sometimes there's this more ethereal sort of thing that goes on with games. And that's with MMOs, the most important thing is that ethereal community sort of aspect. And if you think YouTubers and streamers and content creators have nothing to do with a game, you're completely mistaken. And do know, everyone is a content creator and everyone is a critic as well. I totally get that. So hump the thumb if you like this video. But Starbase is just the game that I think a lot of us, you know, when we play MMOs, we're out there to create our own story, create these big epic events for our guild, and just have a time with friends and family. And I don't think that Starbase is going to create a universe or a world that has a big deep story to tell, or adventures that are sort of like rides already, you know, in the theme park ready for us to jump on. I think Starbase definitely is going to be more of that Minecraft, like, okay, bare open world. What do we do from here? At first glance, it could look really boring to some people, but you know, once you actually get into those fights, once you have the guild versus guild, once you actually get into like the online content, that MMO gameplay, then it's gonna start rolling out. You know, the hype will definitely be alive. You know what? Even if you don't play the game, I have no doubt that some of the coolest videos and in streams, some of the coolest MMO content is going to come out from this game. And that alone, even if Starbase fails or not, I think that will do something and push more games to create content that's more player driven, you know, for that emergent gameplay, which is really what makes MMOs so special. So please, Starbase, keep it coming. You know, just keep giving us tools for you know, content creation. That'd be really fantastic. Just give us players a whole lot to do and build, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, guys, so those are my 5, and I'm just going to kind of close the video by saying that, you know, I tried to cover a bunch of different genres here, and I have some very unique ideas of what would save the MMO genre. I'm sure everyone else does. I would love to know yours as well. But there is a genre I totally missed, and that's going to be, there's a ton of these coming out, but these classic or retro inspired MMOs, I didn't list a single one here. You know, I could do multiple list videos on those kind of games. I can review them specifically, but I honestly hate all of their trailers. I'm personally, like, I want to play some of them, but I know I will not endeavor to play them for very long. They all look very arduous. They just already look dated. And I think that in a lot of ways, they're all trying to save the genre, but by doing things that have kind of already been done and definitely looking well done. That's for sure. And, you know, some people are like, graphics don't matter. And you know what? Hey, I play old school RuneScape. That's like my most played MMO. But there, you know, how a game presents itself, the slow-based gameplay, you know, every little thing coming together. You know, there's not really any charm. The music sounds usual. The classes are generally usual. You might have some good art here and there, but it's just like overall, it just doesn't seem like it's that inspired, that performantly solid, or really anything that you would put, you know, for AAA games, like the standards that make a game AAA. There's just nothing that really reaches up to there, other than the fact that they're sticking to their morals, and you know, we're gonna make the MMO like they used to be made. But you know what? I kind of wish you didn't. Wish you just took those old ideas and you know, put it in a prettier box. I wish you made like a bigger, better product, not like make an old product and you're just making it easier because we have new technology. That's all. Hey guys, that's my five games. I'm done pretty much. I probably could list a whole bunch of games that I think would be really cool if they did succeed, like Lost Oasis. That seems like a cool game. But these are the games that I think have a chance of, you know, succeeding or doing well or having some ripple effect into the MMO genre. But in the end, they all will probably fail to meet expectations for one reason or another. But I just think for very specific reasons that I did mention today, that these games, you know, they have a chance. They have a chance to do something, and maybe even a spiritual successor later down the road, or, you know, some sort of viral wave of new games that'll come out, new genre, who knows, that will then have more of what we want. I mean, whether it totally saves the genre this year or not, we'll have to find out. And you know what? Honestly, probably not. But these games should be fun for someone out there. I don't know. Hopefully. God dang, I'm pessimistic about MMOs. I'm sure you guys are too, but you know, hey, either way, let's try to keep the hype alive. Hope you guys had fun. My name is Skylent, and I'll see you in the next one.